Hello everyone, back tuning into today's second video doing GWV Sunday Round Up for today's second video. So, as always on a Sunday afternoon, this is your eclectic mix of this and that. We'll be looking at things like solar activity, sea surface temperature, anomalies, the QBO, ENSO, and of course weather next week, 10 days, as well as the Arctic Oscillation, North Atlantic Oscillation, and more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. The first video released today was the 8th Summer 2020 update. We're looking at April precipitation for that one. So have a look at that video if you'd like to do that. The video will be placed on the summer updates page at gazweathers.com this evening. And also going to have a live stream, of course, on YouTube between 5 and 6 o'clock. We'll get together, see how we're all doing as we remain in lockdown. The video will be embedded to gazweathers.com, and I'll share it on the social media accounts. If you want to get involved in the live chat, then go to the YouTube channel. They won't have time to go around all of the different accounts like Twitter and Facebook, see what you're saying while I'm doing the live chat. So if you want to get involved in the chat, then YouTube is the place to go for that. Got plenty of pictures to show you to start off with for the Sunday Roundup as well, so let's begin there. So this one sent through to us last week by Kieran Bushnell, showing swans in Whitney. So thanks to Kieran for sending that one through. A nice rainbow picture from Callum Evans. So yes, there was some showery conditions earlier in the week, as well as quite a lot of warm sunshine. This one from Christine, showing apple blossom set against a fabulous blue sky. So thank you to Chris for sending that one through. Sunset picture from a good friend Harry Walker. So thank you, Harry, for sending that through. Lovely sunset picture there. This one sent through yesterday by Richard Bennett, showing cumulonimbus, and yes, there's some big clouds building up yesterday, wasn't there? So some big showers breaking out yesterday. Our good friend Liam Kenwood sent this one through, showing a sun halo down in Maidstone. So fantastic picture. Thank you so much, Liam, for sending that through. Our good friend Savvy sent through this picture, showing his dogs, Naboo and Vincent, sunbathing a couple of days ago. So thank you, Savvy, for sending that one through. And Savvy also noticed some mackerel skies a couple of nights ago, indicative of a change that is already underway right now, a change well and truly taking place to colder conditions. Nicholas Chamberlain noticed some cumulonimbus as well yesterday in Swansea. And Ben Anderson managed to capture this a couple of days ago, showing Cherry Hinton Hall in Cambridge in the sunshine. And yes, the trees well and truly leafing up over there in Cambridge. So, a big thank to everybody for sending their pictures through to us. If you would like to have your pictures featured within the videos, all you need to do is email them to us at gazweathers@gmail.com, or share them with us on our social media accounts. And we're very happy to include your pictures when we get the chance. Maybe we'll do it every week with the Sunday Roundup, actually. So, we might show the pictures in the Sunday Roundup at the start. So, yes, you can email them to us at gazweathers@gmail.com, or share them with us on our social media accounts. And we will feature as many of your weather pictures as we can. Big thank to everybody for featuring their pictures, or sending their pictures through to be featured in today's video. So, as I said a minute ago, a change is underway, and yes, look at this, latest observations from xcweather.co.uk showing much cold air has now surged into the north. The south is still hanging on to warm temperatures, so we've got 20 degrees flashing away there at Letoke. Shoreham Airport is at just 17, is at 17. Forney and Bournemouth at 16, 17. So along the south coast, it's still not too bad. Plymouth 18 degrees. We're just holding on to warmth on the south coast. Go a bit further northwards to Oxford, it's only 13 there. Cranfield is just at 11. Go a bit further north still to Birmingham. It's only 10 degrees at Birmingham. Moving northwards up to Liverpool, only 12 degrees there. And then we're getting further north, and Doncaster is only at 9 degrees. Leaming at 8 degrees. It gets worse, though. Reddersdale Camp at just 5 degrees. Strathallan at 6 degrees. Aviemore only at 3 degrees. And Outnahara at 4 degrees. Wick at 5. So you can see how these cold temperatures are pushing southwards, and that's going to be the trend through the day. So these temperatures are at their highest at the moment down on the south coast, but they will fall away, I think, through the course of this afternoon. We'll have a look at these observations when we do the live stream after 5 o'clock again, and we'll see how much progress that cold air has made from the north. But big changes on the way, and it's going to be a while, I think, before we feel any real warmth in the next few days. Certainly looking quite chilly. So moving on to solar activity. So this is how the solar disk is looking on outside this day from solarham.net. Got a spotless solar disk today, no sunspots, and solar activity is therefore at very low levels, and Solarham is saying that solar activity will remain at very low levels for the next 3 days at least. This is GWV solar activity tracker sent through to us by a good friend James Ackrill. This is showing every day's sunspot activity via this orange line just here. So last week when we looked at this, we had a spike in solar activity, just a slight spike, but we had lifted solar activity up a little bit when we looked at this last week. However, since then, solar activity has been sort of flatlining, or sunspots have been flatlining again. So we've gone back to very, very low levels of solar activity. But like a week ago, just over a week ago, we did have a little bit more in the way of sunspot activity. But as I say, since then, the orange line sort of flatlining away on the floor of the chart, so we have gone back to very low levels of solar activity. So we can see from the trend lines as well, which are thick green and thick red lines, they're sort of flatlining on the floor of the chart too. So it remains the case that we're at solar minimum, and we're going to be staying at solar minimum for certainly the next few weeks and months. I mean, it's going to be a gradual process to come out of this solar minimum, and I think it'll be quite a slow movement into solar cycle number 25. So for the moment, solar minimum does continue. This one's been sent through to us by a good friend, Richard Shaw. This is showing spotless days and the current spotless stretch. So for 2020 so far, we've had 99 days without any sunspots. That's 76% of the year. And the current run of spotless days is 8 days and a week of spotlessness. Again, after that sort of burst of activity that we saw just over a week ago. So we're at deep solar minimum. That compares to 2019, which had 77% of the calendar year that didn't have any sunspots. So far this year, 76% of the year. So yes, we remain at deep and at true solar minimum for the time being. And it's going to go on for a while yet. We haven't yet heard when we have started. If we started solar 25, we may have started it, or we may be about started any time. Really, there will be an announcement from NASA telling us when we have begun solar cycle number 25. We could already have started it, but we haven't had any formal announcement from NASA yet. But for the time being, solar minimum goes on. A big thank you to James and Richard for sending those through. Right, moving on to sea surface temperature anomalies. Now, I can't show you the comparison to last week, unfortunately, so I think very, very shortly NOAA will be sort of doing away with these the old version of the sea surface temperature anomaly maps. They seem to have reduced the number of charts that are available, so I can't do comparison like normally I would show you this one, the current sea surface temperature anomaly map, and then make comparison back to last week, but I can't do that today. I can't seem to get the charts for the week before last, if you see what I mean. But anyway, the last time we did GWV Sunday Round Up. But anyway, I can show you the current. So the current map. So this is for the 7th of May. 3 areas of interest, of course. We've got the ENSO region just here. Got the Northern Pacific over here. We've got the North Atlantic over there. So yes, we have got a very slight signature for La Nina beginning to emerge now through the central part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. Just here, we've got the slightly cold average sea surface temperature. There's nothing to write home about at the moment, but it's quite quick development, this now. So we'll have to wait and see where this goes over the next few weeks. As I say, that it doesn't get us to La Nina threshold at the moment because it is very weak. But the reduction in the CISO temperature anomalies, if you see what I mean, is happening quite rapidly actually, sort of day by day, week by week. So we'll see where that goes over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. That could be the beginnings of La Nina. We have seen from several forecasts, forecast models, particularly CFSV2, sort of predictions for La Nina to start getting going. And that could be the start of it. It's colder than average area sea surface temperature anomaly just here. As I said, at the moment, it's nothing much to write home about. It's just quite a quick sort of emergence of these blue colours now, slightly cold average sea surface temperature. So we'll wait and see where that's going. Go further north into the northern Pacific Ocean, still hanging on to these cold and average sea surface temperature anomalies just here. But they're fading away really, and overall the northern Pacific looks like it's warming up, especially again in the northeastern part of the Pacific Ocean. And then over in the Atlantic, very little change there, so remains quite warm through the tropical part of the Atlantic Ocean and into the Gulf of Mexico. And it is beginning to cool down over towards the eastern seaboard of the United States, so that's quite an interesting area, start getting colder. And this area up here up towards Greenland perhaps warming up slightly, but still a little bit on the cooler side. I can show you the new version sea surface temperature anomaly map, so let's see if we can find those. There they are. So we're going to have to get used to these because this will be the main sort of way of looking at sea surface temperature anomalies from NOAA going forwards. I think before very much longer we will be unable to access certainly current charts. Anyway, we may still be able to access these sort of charts from the historic sort of archives at NOAA. So we may be able to go back to years past and have a look at these maps. But I think for current sea surface temperature anomalies, very soon now we'll be seeing this disappearing. So this will be increasingly the new way of looking at sea surface temperature anomalies, and it's very similar, but there are some changes compared to the old version. Generally, it's all a little bit warmer. I would think that's probably due to the fact that they're looking comparing against a more recent temperature average, perhaps. So again, we'll see through the ENSO region just here that we have got these blue colours beginning to emerge along the equatorial Pacific Ocean, going north into the northern part of the Pacific Ocean, again slightly cooler than average over towards Alaska, and just here warmer in between. Generally, the northern Pacific looks warmer on that view, I think, compared to the old version. And then in the Atlantic, again, it's very similar. So we've got the warm tropical Atlantic just here, of course. So warm and average sea surface temperature, not too much of the tropics, and into the Gulf of Mexico as well. That could be setting us up for an active hurricane season. We see the cold average sea surface temperature anomalies over towards the eastern coast of America. They don't look as much on that view compared to the older version. And then south of Greenland, it actually looks warmer on this view compared to the old view. So on this view, it looks like we've got a band of warm and average sea surface temperature anomalies just there, and then a band of cooler than average sea surface temperature anomalies just developing just there, and then a band of warmer than average sea surface temperature anomalies developing just there. So maybe hints of a little bit of a tripole emerging in the Atlantic at the moment. Moving on to the Southern Oscillation Index, which is, of course, is an index that's just reflecting the atmospheric state. It's not driving anything in its own terms. It just tells us what the atmosphere is doing. So when the SOI is in its negative phase, then the atmosphere is going to be reflective of El Nino. When the SOI is in its positive phase, then the atmosphere will be reflective of La Nina. And, of course, it's from Queensland Government, which is part of Bureau of Meteorology. And to get El Nino or La Nina going, really, you need the ocean to couple up with the atmosphere, and that's how you sort of spiral off into either El Nino or La Nina events. So these are our latest data trends. These are preliminary, but they don't tend to change all that much. So for the 30th of April, is around ENSO neutral at 0.43, neither El Nino or La Nina with the atmospheric state. 1st of May, again, very much around ENSO neutral. But then the 2nd and 3rd and 4th of May goes slightly positive. So that's like weak La Nina type setup. 6th and 7th of May goes negative, down to -10 and -11, so that's the atmosphere reflective of an El Nino. And then the 8th, 9th and 10th of May, more positive. Again, atmosphere is slightly more reflective of La Nina. Very gradually, the SOI 30-day average is moving upwards. So this red line shows that the SOI 30-day average has gone from like -7 back on the 11th of April to around +1. Here on the 10th of May, latest date, of course. So you can see that is quite a sharp increase in the SOI 30-day average. The 90-day average, this yellow dashed line just here, that isn't moving very much, but it certainly looks like the 30-day average has moved positive quite significantly. As it is a 30-day average, it does tend to move around quite a lot more than the 90-day average, and that's probably responsible, partly responsible anyway, for the emergence of these cold average sea surface temperature anomalies. So very, very gradually, it does look as though we might be starting to inch our way towards a La Nina. If we do, I suspect it will probably be quite a weakish La Nina, but we'll have to wait and see. These things can sort of spiral and become a lot stronger than we expect. But we'll just monitor and see where things are going to go over the next few days and weeks. QBO next, quasi-Iberian oscillation. This is from NASA. So this is showing westerly and easterly QBO phases. So that's the westerly phase of the QBO that we have been in over the past few months, indicated by that brown sort of sandy coloured area just there. And then the easterly phase of the QBO is just here. You've got to think that this is like the top of the atmosphere. That's 10 HPA in the stratosphere. This is down on the surface. The all important part of the atmosphere is 30 to 50 HPA. That's like the troposphere just there. So we've had an easterly QBO descending phase over the past few months. You can see that from these blue and green colours up here, but struggling to descend, and we've always sort of kept this westerly QBO going around 30 HPA very weakly, but it has sort of clung on by its fingertips. And then underneath that, kind of between 50 and 30 HPA, we've had the easterly QBO again just here. Very, very complicated and strange what's happened with this development of the easterly QBO. It has been very, very slow development of the easterly QBO. And if I zoom you in a little bit, so let's see if we can zoom in and go up here, you'll see that there's just the first signs of a westerly QBO beginning to appear at the very, very top of the stratosphere up there. So that could be the start of the westerly QBO in 6 to 12 months' time. But that would be very early for that to appear. So what's going on there, I'm not sure. We're going to have to keep a close eye on that, see where that's going. Hopefully we're not going to have a failure of the easterly QBO, or just a very short easterly QBO phase, and then we go off into the westerly QBO. But this is all rather strange what's going on here with the QBO now. And again, we've got these raggedy sort of westerly QBO, which is left over, westerly QBO spaces just here, left over from the last westerly QBO. It doesn't want to go underneath. We've got the easterly QBO just there. But it is very early to see the next westerly QBO phase, which you wouldn't expect to begin until like the early part of next year, like in a year's time or so, just under a year's time. You wouldn't expect to see that beginning to appear at the top of the stratosphere yet. So hopefully we're not going to have a failure of the easterly QBO again. We had a failure of the easterly QBO in 2016, and as far as we know, that's the first time that has ever happened. I still think we're going to have a prolonged period of easterly QBO and a proper easterly QBO phase. I still think that's where this is going, but I am a little bit surprised to see the westerly QBO beginning to appear right at the very top of the stratosphere already. That shouldn't be happening yet. So we shall see where that goes, and we'll keep a very close eye on it. This is how the QBO looks from the University of Berlin. This is only updated, though, to the end of April, I think. So, again, the grey coloured areas, they're the westerly QBO phases. The white coloured areas are the easterly QBO phases. And, again, you can see what's happened with this westerly QBO just clinging on through the 30 HPA level of the atmosphere. But underneath it, we have had the easterly QBO there between 30 and 50 HPA. And, of course, above it, also, we've got this white area just here, like in the stratosphere. got ECQBO in the stratosphere as well. Now, this is the last time we had the failure of the ECQBO just here. So this is 2016. See this white area just here, low down between 30 and 50 HPA. So, but the Wesley QBO sort of clinging on above 30 HPA and then descending again as we went through 2016 to 2017. As far as we know, that's the first time that's ever happened. The QBO should be very regular, should be like a pulse or a heartbeat, but constantly going from its westerly to its easterly phase at very regular intervals. It is harder to shift from westerly to the easterly phase of the QBO, but generally you shouldn't get a failure of the QBO. So we had a failure of the ECQBO back in 2016. Hopefully we won't get another failure. I don't think we will. The big difference with this one, of course, is that we've got the ECQBO right in the stratospheric level of the atmosphere, which is something that we didn't have back in 2016. See how that darker coloured area just carried on and then descended again through 2016. So we're much more we're much further on, if you see what I mean, in the development of this ECQBO. I don't think we will get a failure of the easterly QBO, but I am a little bit surprised at what we see there with the westerly QBO just beginning to appear right at the very top of the stratosphere. But we shall continue to monitor that and see how it goes. This is how Eurasian snow cover is looking. So again, we've got this white area just here, which of course is snow cover. That is receding very rapidly now back into Russia and also into Siberia. Still a lot of snow cover over northern parts of Scandinavia. They've had quite a cold spring, I think, over in Scandinavia, but all of this is melting and falling away as you would expect. Within around 3 or 4 weeks, Eurasia or wave mountainous areas, we will be snow free across most of Russia and also Siberia as well. We've got this yellow area, that's Arctic sea ice, of course. This is from National Snow and Ice Data Centre. So we are seeing the Arctic sea ice melting, of course. Now that's going to carry on right way through to the end of August and the beginning of September. This blue line shows how Arctic sea ice extent has been performing through this season. You see that it is melting quite quickly at the moment. If we put it, compare that to our 30-year averages. So that is our latest average, 2011-2019. We're very close to our most recent 10-year average. We're under the 2001 to 2010 average, so less Arctic sea ice at the moment compared to 2001 to 2010. And of course, we're way below 1991 to 2000 and 1979 to 1990. So over the next few months, we're going to see Arctic sea ice extent reducing. The melt season will continue, and we'll finish up around September somewhere down here, and it remains to be seen where we will finish up, but I assume we'll probably have another fairly big melt season. That certainly seems to be the way things are at the moment over the past few years. Arctic Oscillation is looking like this. So this is the AO observed and forecast chart. Remember, it's very similar to like the QBO and the SY. This is just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state. It's not driving anything, it just tells us what the atmosphere is doing. So when the AO is in its positive phase, you've got low pressure over the Arctic. When the AO is in its negative phase, you've got high pressure blocking over the Arctic. So, of course, had a very long run of positivity of the Arctic Oscillation through the winter. Look at the black line there. Record-breakingly positive on many occasions back into the winter. And into the spring, the AO stayed positive at a reduced rate, yes, but the AO did stay positive through most of the spring. However, where we are right now is negative with the North Atlantic Oscillation. We have gone negative. So that tells us we have increased the blocking signal, particularly up towards Greenland. And that's the reason we've got very cold air currently across northern eastern parts of America, and also got very cold air descending into northern Europe as well. Both sides of the Atlantic are going cold, and that's happening via the blocking around Greenland and up into the Arctic, and we see that blocking depicted by the AO going negative. GFS ensembles are forecasting that the Arctic Oscillation is going to stay negative as well over the next couple of weeks. So it looks like we have entered a very different phase of the weather as we have gone into May. We have entered into a negative phase of the Arctic Oscillation after being very positive for many months through the winter and into the spring. This may carry on for a little while. Now, it is descended properly into its negative phase. You never quite know, but I would suspect this could go on for a month or two. So we should wait and see about that. But definitely the AO is looking very different now. The overall sort of broad pattern in the Northern Hemisphere, very, very different to what we had back into winter and through the spring. At the same time, the NAO has also gone negative. So the black line again showing where we've been with the North Atlantic Oscillation. This time, we're measuring air pressures in the North Atlantic as opposed to the Arctic. Again, very positive with the NAO back through winter into the spring. But where we are right now with the NAO is negative. And the GFS ensembles are forecasting that we stay generally on the negative side. We are going to try and lift it up towards neutral in around a week's time, then probably fall back as we go into the second half of May. And overall, the NAO and the AO look like they have entered a negative phase. A very, very different setup, therefore, compared to what we've had over the past few months. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean we're going to go cold, although we are going cold at the moment. Doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have a lot of cold weather or cool weather through the rest of May and perhaps into June. We may do, that may be the way things go, but we saw last year when we had a negative AO and NAO combination, we still came away with a very warm summer. It's quite a strange summer last year, but you can still have very warm weather, at times hot weather, with a negative AO and NAO. So it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to go into cool and wet spell through through late spring into early summer, but certainly the overall setup in the Northern Hemisphere is very, very different to what we've had for several months. Right, let's do some forecasting. I'm going to have a look at GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. So looking at London today, red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for London, descending with the upper air temperatures basically at the moment. So still actually above average for London, but in the next few hours we're going to see a crash in the upper air temperature, going much colder, going from around +10 to -5. So it's over a 10-degree temperature reduction in terms of the upper air temperatures in the next few hours. Very significant drop in the temperature. And then as we move up towards the middle part of the month and beyond the middle of the month, it looks as though the upper air temperatures will be staying really quite chilly. They're going to gradually lift up, but it is a very, very slow process from where we are when we have this crash. And we do see the upper air temperatures slowly lifting up, but it is a slow old process to get the temperature into recovery. So it's not really until we get into the third week of May just here, but we finally see the upper air temperatures returning back to average. So certainly we're going to have a week, maybe more, but quite chilly weather. As I say, not as cold as it will be in the next 24 hours. We will see a gradual recovering temperature, but it is a slow process. Precipitation-wise, lots of dry weather coming up as well, so cool and dry really summing it up, I think, over the next week or so. Perhaps signs of that it's going a bit more unsettled, right in the very extended range. That's a really long way out, and overall I think it just looks quite dry, but a bit on the cool side, and of course starting cold. Temperature anomalies confirmed. Let's look at this temperature anomaly. This is from the 10th to the 18th of May. And not just for the UK, but for Europe as well. Look how cold it is to average across most parts of Europe. Many places are like 4 to 6 degrees below average. Some places like Norway, for example, 8 to 10 degrees below average. Where was all this cold back in the winter, you ask? So, yes, very significantly below average temperature anomalies, except in this far southeastern corner, Greece and Turkey, looking a lot hotter there, but otherwise substantially below average with the temperature anomaly in the week ahead. Precipitation anomalies drier than average for the UK and Ireland. Is going to be a cool but also dry week coming up. Many other parts of Europe though looking quite unsettled, particularly Spain and Portugal looking wet down there, and that's quite unusual when you're into May. Again, this is indicative of the negative AO NAO sending the jet stream and the areas of low pressure southwards, significantly drier than average in the southeastern part of the Mediterranean. That's how the GFS is looking for Wednesday then, and high pressure will be out to the west of the country on Wednesday. We're bringing in these northerly winds, so yes, temperatures are recovering, but as long as we're on that eastern side of the ridge, we're going to be keeping winds from a northerly direction, so it will be quite cool. Moving up towards the end of next week, again, high pressure is out to our west, winds coming around the eastern side of that high pressure from a northerly type direction, so it will continue to be a little bit on the cool side, but again, the Atlantic is blocked off, so it will be dry, but temperatures will be a little bit on the depressed side, probably most notable at night. Moving up towards day 10, signs of blocking continuing around Greenland, Iceland, and we're having a go at moving some low pressure in from off the Atlantic, but not quite pulling it off. And as we get to day 10, actually we start to see high pressure just shifting a little bit more towards our east. That might start to allow some warmer winds to come up from the south. However, low pressure then starts trying to tuck in from off the Atlantic as we move beyond day 10. But overall, keep quite a bit of high pressure around right way through to the end of the GFS run, which today gets us to the 26th of May. And the high pressure generally centred over and to the east of the country, pulling the winds up from the south, so that should eventually turn things a great deal warmer, I think, as we move into like the latter stages of the month. That starts to bring some warmer winds up from the south. But GM looks like this. So again, high pressure over to the east of the country. Again, going to be quite chilly as we're on the eastern side of the ridge of high pressure. Then the high pressure sort of strengthens over into our southwest, so that starts to lift the temperature a little bit as we go into like next weekend. Which is 16th, 17th of May. Lots of high pressure influences, so we will remain very dry over the next 10 days. I think that will be one of the big talking points, that there's going to be plenty of dry weather coming up, and temperatures will be a bit on the chilly side, especially initially when it will be cold. ECM looks like this, so again the high pressure out to west of the country on Wednesday, mainly dry but a bit on the chilly side, winds coming in from a north to northeasterly direction. As we go into the weekend of 16th, 17th of May, we begin to see the high pressure slipping southwards a little bit, starting to pull up some warmer winds from the southwest and warmer air from the southwest, and then the ECM begins to set up what looks like quite a hot pattern, potentially as we move up towards day 10. This is very different what the GFS is showing, but high pressure is strengthening over to the south of the country around France and starting to drag up some much warmer air from the south. So looking at that, we get to day 10, Wednesday 20th of May, and we're looking much warmer there, and upper air temperatures are showing a 10 cells ice firm pushing up across the country. So the ECM eventually turns us very warm and dry, and that'll be proper summer when we get through to day 10. We'll see when we do the live stream this afternoon at 5 o'clock how much support that ECM operational run has with its ensembles, because we'll have a look at the ECM ensembles as part of our live stream this afternoon. So that will be after 5 o'clock. So CFS-V2 looking like this. These are 500 millibar heights broken down to week periods. The first week period takes us from the 10th to the 16th of May. The coming week has above average heights just out to our west, below average heights to our east. It's mainly dry, but it is cold or cool. Winds coming in from a northerly direction, so a chilly old week to start us off. However, this looks better when we go through to week 2, which is the 17th to 23rd of May. Above average heights and extending from the south to the north, and we're on the warm side of the ridge now, so we're on the western side of that ridge of high pressure with low pressure out in the Atlantic. That pulls the winds up from the south, so that's mainly dry, and it does turn much warmer as well. Week 3 is the 24th to the 30th of May with above average heights down to our south, below average heights out to our west. Winds are kind of like westerly. That might be a little bit more unsettled. However, we're back to high pressure by week 4, taking us from the 31st May to 6th of June. High pressure then centres over Denmark and Germany, and again that will pull up some very warm winds from the south. That could be a heat wave actually through the first week of June. The CFS has been hinting at this for a few days now, certainly playing around with the possibility of a heat wave through the first week of June. It's 4 weeks away, and if it doesn't happen, then forget you ever heard it. If it does happen, then remember where you heard it first. This is how June overall is looking from the CFS V2. So these are 700 millibar heights for June 2020, with above average heights centred over the country and to our north as well. So it looks like an anticyclonic June, if that's right. High pressure in control for June, if that's right. Temperature anomalies are forecast to be warmer than average. Very warm June over across much of Northern Europe, by the way, and Western Europe too. Precipitation anomalies for June, no particular signal, but obviously with high pressure dominating and ruling the roost, you would expect a relatively dry, you would expect it to be relatively dry through June if it came off like that. So there we go, that's Sunday Round Up for this week. Now I wanted to show you Patel Peng's analogues for the winter, been showing you those in the Sunday Roundup, and I thought I'd either show them in the Sunday Roundup or I'd show them in the live stream. I've just, before I started this video, before I started recording, I checked Patel Peng's website, and unfortunately he hasn't updated the website yet, so the charts aren't up. So we'll have to look at those next week. Again, that will either be as part of the Sunday Roundup, or probably more likely part of the live stream next Sunday, and we will have a look at Patel Peng's analogues then. But for the live stream, as I said, we're going to be looking at the options while we're tailoring the ECM ensembles. Probably have a look at the CFS V2 as well for the next few months, and we'll just generally have a bit of a chat and see how we're all doing as we remain in lockdown. But for the Sunday Roundup, that's all for now. Don't forget the summer update will be placed on the summer updates page this evening. There'll be a written summary goes around as well. Give us a like on the video. Let us know that you're enjoying it through the comments, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. You'll be notified when we're releasing content and live streaming. All right then, that's all for now, and thanks.